And here we go. Today on the Campfire Conversationalist podcast, we are finishing up a episode we started like 2 months ago now. We haven't got around to it until just now.
We had good intentions.
Yeah, great intentions. And then we're just getting to it now. So this part, if you're listening to this in chronological order, this will be kind of the second half of us talking about the road trip we took. Uh, I won't say around the whole country, but we went through a good portion of the Midwest and some of the southwestern states, and then back. And here we go.
Well, we headed out west. We made it all the way out west.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So
Midwest, South, Midwest. Well,
we didn't really go south. Not
Arkansas.
south. Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. Forgot. Fair point.
So South, and then Midwest, and
Some
then
states I don't really consider the real South because, like, in South Ohio, which
Yeah.
is one state away from Canada, they talk like this down there too.
Right.
So, like, certain states, like, they're really far north, but it's still for some reason the South. I
yeah,
don't know if they know what South means, but some of those states aren't really in the South; they're just Southern culture. So
Right.
yes, Arkansas I would say is South because it's really next to Texas, and so it's pretty. Texas is a big state though, but it's South. So we picked up Matt in Arkansas,
Yep.
and the first night we tried camping. We found was that a state park?
Oh, wait. We're missing a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
So we left. We got out of St. Louis, and we ended up driving to within 2 hours of where Matt was.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got a hotel that first night.
Yep, we got a hotel. We chilled. We were tired from how many? We would drive like 12 hours.
Yeah, probably 11 or 12 hours.
So we were pretty tired. And then we got up early and we headed out to get Matt. We get there, and on the way, he's telling us that his daughter had to go grocery shopping before we left.
But yeah,
And we have to take her. And I'm like, this should have been kind of planned a little bit more appropriately, but whatever. Pick her up, do some quick grocery shopping. It was good to see her anyway, so whatever. And then we take the groceries back home. Matt gets his stuff, loads in the car, and then we drive down to some other town, city. I don't know what they are in Arkansas. Yeah, Xerxes. Pick up a bunch of stuff at their Walmart. Oh, excuse me.
We got a bunch of camping stuff.
Yeah, camping stuff.
You'll know why I do it in quotations later. That was for those of you just listening. The camping was in quotations.
Yes, camping.
We went camping. Well, we were gonna go camping. So
Yeah.
we bought a bunch of camping gear.
Yep. Lawn chairs. I think you bought an extra tent.
I did. I bought like a blow-up mattress for Matt. And
Yep.
a bunch of blankets, and I didn't buy a sleeping bag. I got like blankets and sheets because I'm like, well, you can use a sleeping bag for camping, but you can use sheets and a blanket anytime.
Right.
So yeah,
Left there. Drove all the way
there because I only brought my stupid little ones. So I got a couple memory cards there, and then before we left the parking lot, I saw this really bright green trailer that was serving food. I'm like, I gotta get me some food. And I said it with the accent and everything in my head. I didn't even know what they had because I couldn't read what they had that far away. It was pretty far out in the back of the parking lot. Excuse me, that was a White Claw speaking, not me. And so they had catfish, and I love catfish. And I haven't had catfish in a while. And up here in Wisconsin, they don't do catfish here, I don't think. They do have fish fries every Friday. I don't know that I've ever seen catfish in the menu. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think people really do catfish up here. And if they do, it's probably not like down south. So I got catfish and hush puppies.
They were good too.
Yeah,
it was all good. Yeah. The catfish, I eat catfish all the time, and that was really, really good catfish. They did a good job.
Yeah, and then let's see. So after that,
we
started heading out. So
we started heading out. We get through Arkansas into on the border of Missouri, and Matt was insistent that we stop at a duty-free tax-free place to get smokes. And we're like, bro, like, okay. So we stop at a place. It's not the tax-free. It's like a mile down the road from it. And so he ends up buying them anyways. And we're like, okay, like, you could have held out like a mile.
You couldn't wait a mile because he was, smoking everyone else's cigarettes at that point anyways.
Yeah. So
it's like, I can't go one more mile. I must buy them now. I'm here in Missouri.
Oh, God. What did we end up doing after? Did we just drive straight? We didn't stop for food or anything?
We didn't stop until the west. Well, I'm sure we stopped a few times for like potty breaks and gas breaks and stuff. But we didn't like stop until we got to like the west side of Kansas, and it was daybreak. Remember, you got pictures of the sunset.
Yeah,
hours in that rest area.
Well, and the whole reasoning behind that was because I didn't want to stop. No offense, we're from the north. We don't have, a mile or 2 mile wide tornadoes on a regular basis. And we wouldn't even know what to do with a tornado that big. We would literally just kiss our ass goodbye and like, whatever, okay. So my reasoning, I was just like, you know what? It's hot. It's like, 90 something degrees.
At that point, I don't know if it was really that hot yet. It was hot, but not that hot.
Well, it was pretty humid though, and hot. Like it was enough to where you felt like icky, just like you can't sleep, you're restless. And so I told Matt, I was like, dude, I would rather just power through the night, put some mileage on, and get out of like, the tornado alley states.
Mm-hmm.
And just make it to the other side, because all there are is like farmland and fields, and there's nothing really scenic to look at.
No,
so
Kansas is literally flat and corn and cows, just like Nebraska.
Yeah, so if I'm driving like through the night, I want it to be on a night where it's like that and not like mountainous or something, beautiful.
There's nothing to see. You're not missing anything at night.
Yeah. So we did. We powered through. I remember seeing Joplin like 20 miles away and places that had been hit and ravaged by F5 tornadoes. And I was like, yeah, let's just keep going. So we made it all the way to that Kansas rest stop. And it wasn't too far outside of Colorado.
No, I don't know how far, but it wasn't far.
It wasn't very far. So we made it.
Almost all. So we got all the way from Arkansas all the way to the west side of Kansas and some, I don't know what city or, I don't remember what mile marker, 80 something maybe. I'm just pulling the number out of my butt.
Dude, you have like a photographic memory, bro.
I might be right.
You might be. I'm not dissing on that. I'm just saying.
I'm not confident on that, but
we need to go and look now.
I remember it wasn't like 20 minutes until we were in Colorado. It was like a good hour or more.
Yeah.
But we were pretty much clear through the state. And then after that,
you know what? We're missing the most valuable piece right now.
Oh yeah, Gooch and Grundle.
Well, Gooch and Grundle, that was over the night.
That was like right before we stopped because we were getting pretty slap happy.
Yeah, I was thinking Gooch and Grundle and Matt.
Oh yeah.
Other Matt.
Oh yeah, dude.
The
Okay,
14 hours straight.
Yeah.
You want to hear? You tell that, dude.
So like I had anticipated that Matt would be excited to see us. However, I didn't anticipate what was about to ensue. Like the next, no joke, it was a good 14 to 16 hours straight. We're like, from the time we left that Walmart parking lot until whenever Matt fell asleep at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not kidding, he was like non-stop talking. Like, I don't even, it wasn't even like conversational type stuff. Some of it was. He was trying to be, but it would be like, it would start off with whatever we were talking about, and then it would rabbit hole in a rabbit trail. I think it's rabbit trail. Whatever. Deer trail. It would deer trail off into like
Oblivion.
something about some girl he dated 35 years ago. And we're like, what? And then we're getting into all these details about Missy Prickerton from 1992 when they went on a date in Royal Oak to the Caribou Coffee and Noir Leather, and then they went, I don't even know, dude. And it would start off with like us talking about like, I don't know, the trip or something. And then somehow it would be like some other story, non-related, like 30 minutes later. And John and I are looking at each other like, dude, I don't know how much more of this we can take. We got to the point, no joke, where we put him on quiet time. We're like 20 minutes, man. Stop. 20 minutes, please.
And how long did that 20 minutes last?
2 minutes.
2 minutes exactly. We were timing him.
We're like, shut up! We started timing him. It was bad, dude.
And we're just like, Matt, it's been 2 of the 20. We need 20. And he would be quiet for another 2 minutes. And then he would lean back forward and just start going at it again. And we're like, bro, like, dude.
You gotta stop. We're not mad. We don't hate you. But we're a little frustrated. You gotta chill out for like 20 minutes, man.
See, like in hindsight, we can look back and we can laugh about it. And I'm sure there's some partial judgment coming from the audience. Like, well, he has like, whatever's going on in his brain and the whole trip's about him. And, he's ill, he's mentally ill. And no, I don't even care.
Dude, it was
14 hours nonstop. Like, we're talking no breaks, not even 5 seconds in between, like nothing. Like, oh my God. Like,
and I broke it down like this. I was like, man, dude, there's too much information. I can't take all that in. It's too much right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like, I know you're sorry. Stop talking. Don't apologize. Just stop talking.
we love you, but way too much, But then somewhere in the course of the night, Matt passes out. I can't remember how late it was. It was like pretty late.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Local time. Or maybe
was
I can't remember if we're going off of your car's clock or real time.
Yeah, it could have been like, I just know it was dark still.
Yeah.
And me and Matt were driving through somewhere in I think it was Kansas by then. It was near, you know what? It was near Joplin. It was near Joplin when you came up with Gooch and Grundle.
I think it was further along than that, but it was somewhere like
it was right around there. It was like
the middle of nowhere. And,
yeah.
So like we were listening to John's. Wait, were we listening to it? Your old band, or were we just talking about it? I don't remember.
I think we were just talking about it.
Yeah, so we were just talking about like John's old band, A Torn Dilemma. You can go look them up on YouTube. Anyways, so like the name of the album was Tainted by Birth. And okay, so at this point, I've been up for like almost a day, and I'm starting to get slap happy. And I'm like, dude, and I'm dead serious when I'm saying this to John, but I'm also like joking. So it's a straight 50-50 joking and serious. And to this day, it still is. I'm like, dude, we need to re-record the whole album and call it Tainted by Taint. And make all the songs parodies of themselves, because no band has ever done that before. Name me one band that's ever done a real album and then parodied every song on that album. I'm pretty sure no band's ever done that. That I'm aware of. So I'm like, we need to do this, dude. And I'm like, how do you spell taint? Like the taint. Is it the same as the other taint? So I looked up how to spell taint, and I discovered that there's other words for taint besides taint, like Gooch and Grundle. And for some reason, that made us laugh for like an hour straight, dude. We were like almost pissing our pants laughing. We had to stop for potty breaks because we were laughing so hard.
Well, and then Matt goes on. I don't think it was that night. I think it was later on in the trip. You went on. I think it was in Colorado.
Oh yeah, I was covering other bands' songs with Gooch and Grundle lyrics.
Yeah. Well, and then he goes on and like registers the name because he is so confident that he.
Yeah, this is also how happy we are. I go and Google, or I go and register Grundle.com, and you can go there. There's nothing there.
Just so no one else can have that.
Yeah, no one else is having it. I want my Gooch and Grundle. You know what I'm saying? My GoochandGrundle.com. So at this point, GoochandGrundle.com is for sale for $10 million. Otherwise, I'm keeping it. And we were like,
oh my god, dude.
Yeah, dude, we were like just taking all kinds of songs. Oh, what was didn't we make him a song, a Project 86 song?
Oh yeah,
something about chicken fingers or something.
We don't need no chicken euros.
Oh yeah. Instead of we don't need no, what is? Oh, now I can't remember the
Truthless Heroes.
We don't need Truthless Heroes. We're like, we don't need no chicken gyros. I need truth. I mean, it was pretty fun. Dude. So we were just doing all kinds of like, dude, we were slap happy. Like, we might as well have been drunk, but we hadn't had a drop of alcohol at this point.
Yeah. And we were doing Skillet.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of like
all different types of bands.
Parody. We made parodies for a bunch of stuff. It was pretty fun. I think at that point is after we were doing that, I think that's when I came up with the Tainted by Taint thing. Is because we were doing those other bands first, and then I was like, what if we did a Torn Dilemma, and we parodied the songs from Tainted by Birth, and then it just hit in my head. I'm like, Tainted by Taint, awesome. So that was pretty damn near 5 o'clock in the morning by the time all that started to wind down.
Yeah,
and then we pulled into it was starting to become daybreak, like it was light out, but the sun hadn't risen yet, and we pulled into a rest stop, and by the time we settled ourselves down a little bit, the sun had risen. We got pictures of. Actually, I didn't. At that point, I was done. But John got pictures of the sunset. So I'll put photos up that correlate with the story as we go along, because I have I've got a lot of photos for this whole trip.
Yeah.
I probably don't have enough, but I still have a lot. And then so we move on to Colorado. When we stopped to get the t-shirts and hoodies, was that as soon as we got into Colorado? Because I'm pretty sure I was like, what if it gets cold at night in the desert? Because at this point,
we were looking for an oil change place.
Oh yeah,
remember?
Right. Yeah, yep. So we were trying to find an oil change place. We pull off an exit because John's at like the point of his mileage where he needs to get a change, right now, or it might have already passed. But I mean, when you're on a trip, a few hundred miles over isn't going to kill anything. But he's like, we need to stop ASAP. So we stop at this exit. We see like some gas stations and stuff, and there's like t-shirt stores. And so I'm like, I need to get a hoodie, but I'm a big guy, so I can't just get any old hoodie. I've got to get a super large one. So we go to the gas station. They don't have any in my size. Then right next door is another t-shirt place. They have like a t-shirt, not a hoodie, but they had a t-shirt that was in my size. And then I ended up getting my daughter and my wife a t-shirt and think I got out of a hoodie. I can't remember.
That's where I grabbed my hoodie too.
Yeah, you got one too. I ended up getting a hoodie, but I couldn't find one in my size until we got to California. And it was
Yeah.
110 degrees when I bought the hoodie. No joke. But in my defense, I have been on trips where it was hot out. And like one time I was on a trip from Michigan to, I think, California with Master's Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in April, late April. And when we went through Colorado, there's a blizzard. And I didn't pack anything for warm. Because when we left Michigan, it was warm. And I knew it was going to be nice in California. So I didn't put anything like warm in my bag. So I learned a lesson that trip, like we went through a blizzard in Colorado when we were driving through that time. So I was like, never again. So like the whole trip, I'm looking for a hoodie. And then by the time I find one, we're in California. It's 110 degrees. And I'm like, I found my fucking hoodie. So, and it was a thick hoodie too. I did end up wearing it. I'll get to that part later when I ended up wearing the hoodie. So at this point, we're in Colorado. We get our hoodie or t-shirts and stuff, and then
Matt still hasn't. Keep in mind, Matt still has not stopped talking,
except for when he was asleep.
That's it.
Matt's like, we need to stop at a dispensary. Like, okay, we'll get to one. Don't worry, dude. We'll get to one.
Yeah.
And for the record, I personally don't do weed. You know, I look like I do, but I don't because the few times I've taken marijuana, it didn't work out so well for me. I was like, it was not a good experience at all. So I don't do it. I don't care if other people do it. It doesn't bother me. It's like a whatever thing for me. But I was not interested in getting any type of drugs or anything on this trip. But for whatever reason, Matt's like, I want to get some edibles.
And you know what? We're looking at him. We're like, okay, we don't know how long you're going to live. Could be 10 years, could be 50 years, could be tomorrow.
Right. We're like, let's just do whatever. I mean,
and with him talking, like nonstop, me and DreadMatt are like,
let's stop at the dispensary.
Yeah, maybe this isn't a bad idea. We'll get the oil changed. We'll stop at a dispensary and we'll give him some, gummies or something.
Yeah, so I think we ended up finding an oil change place, but it was, I think, around Aurora.
Yeah.
In that area. I can't remember for sure. It was a nice little place.
Yeah.
And so we get the oil changed, and that was expensive.
Yeah.
It was like $130 or something.
Yeah, something really retarded.
And then, so then we're looking for a dispensary. We get there. I've never been to a dispensary before, so I didn't know what to expect. And it's literally like a walk-in clinic or something, like a medical clinic. You go in, you show them your license because they want to verify that you're the correct age. And either you can just sit in the waiting room or you can go into the shopping area, and then they have like all these different. They have like I guess you could say it's set up like a U shape, the whole counter area, so the employees are in around the outside, and like all the cases, there's like all these different areas. They're all the same products, but like each employee has their section with the same products, so like they can help it, a customer, and this is they don't have to wander around the store. It's like this is what we have right here, and
right?
Same all the way around. So when it's your turn, they call your name, and I went in with Matt because I was just curious. I'd never been to one before, didn't know what to expect, and then Matt's like asking the guy questions. He's like buys a bag of brownies that are like 10 milligrams a piece, and then he bought some gummies, fast acting gummies.
Yeah.
Another air quotes for those just listening. Fast acting.
Fast acting.
Yeah, 15 minutes it said. Keep in mind, Matt's really overweight. I'm not judging, so am I. So like, there's more of him for the THC to go through. So if you're 90 pounds versus 300 or something pounds, I'm sure there's a time difference. Matt didn't take that into a factor. That's important later on in a few minutes. I'll tell you why. So Matt gets whatever he's getting. Spends like, I don't know, $40. It wasn't really that expensive for the amount of stuff he got. And then we bounce. And then at that point, because we had stopped to get the oil change, we stopped to look for a place to get the oil change and couldn't find one, and then got the oil change, and then we started driving to the we stopped at the dispensary, and then so we get back to the car, and Matt and I and John had this conversation with Matt. No, that didn't come out right. John and I had this conversation with Matt, and we're like, okay, I know I've never actually done edibles, but I know from listening to podcasts and stuff and doing a lot of research, I kind of have an idea of edibles are much different than just smoking weed. And Matt had said he's never done edibles before.
And I told him, I was like, straight up, I've done this a lot. I was like, take my experience into factor. All right. I was like, do one, just one. Okay. Next thing I know, DreadMatt looks at me and he's like, dude, he just popped like 4 brownies and like a handful of gummies in his mouth at one freaking time. Just like bloom. Like he was just like digging in a bag of Doritos and just like pounded them in his mouth as hard as he could.
And we tried warning him. We probably had a 10-minute conversation. Like, I know you see the milligrams on the bag versus what you smoked in the past. I'm like, it's not the same because it goes through your liver and it creates this other chemical called, I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it, but I can't remember it. And it does, it's different. Just trust us on this. It's different. He's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've smoked weed before. I'm like, yeah, it's not the same, Matt. Just take our word for it.
Yeah, so we go to Chick-fil-A right after, and Matt's like, I still don't feel anything. And I was like, bro, like, chill, okay? Just chill. And he's talking up a storm, and then he comes out of Chick-fil-A, and he's like, I think I'm starting to feel something, just a little bit.
Oh my god!
And
I'm turning red right now from people just listening.
And I'm like looking at him like, oh god, dude, he's just starting now to feel it. Yeah, it's been like 20 minutes. He's just now starting. When it all kicks in, it's gonna lay him out, So we here. I want to finish this rest, okay? So we take off and we're like, all right, we got to get through the mountains, okay? Through the Colorado mountains. We got to get through the mountain pass. So we're driving. Matt is like, it is starting to really hit him hard, okay? But that talking ability of his is like amplified by like a million minus any thought whatsoever. There's no stories.
Talk, but okay, so you're high and you're talking, mixed with Alzheimer's and dementia, mixed with Matt just being excited that he's with us because we haven't seen him. He hasn't seen us in years.
Yeah,
like all 3 of us literally haven't been together in probably like a decade.
Yeah,
or something, or 8 or 9 years. Okay, so
he's like leaning in, and like every 5, 10, it was like 10 seconds. Yeah. Like literally, he would lean into both the front seat, and he'd be like, "Hey, John, yeah, man. Never mind, I forgot." Every 10 freaking seconds while we're driving through the worst mountain pass in America.
Yeah.
Like 7-8% grades all the way down, and I have him leaning up in between us on 3 hours sleep. We're doing all of this on
3 hours sleep at that rest stop. It wasn't very much. It was enough to keep us going.
Yeah, so every 10 seconds, we had 10-second Tom with us. And then at one point, he's like, I remember him leaning up and he was like, I see the colors and they taste so wonderful. I'm like looking at DreadMatt. I was like, dude, when you start tasting colors, You are on another high that most people never will experience,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
So at some point, I'm like, man, how much have you taken, dude? He's like, well, at first he said, I think at first he said 3 or 4 gummies. I can't remember exactly, and a couple of brownies. I was like, okay. And then later I asked him again. And he's like, well, I'm like, how many did you have? You had 2 brownies and 4 gummies. He's like, well, I had 4. I had 4 brownies. I'm like, what? So I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, each brownie is like 10 grams of THC times 4 is 40 plus like 4 gummies. Those are like 5 apiece. I'm like, dude, you have like 60 grams of THC going through you right now.
All at
Like
once.
all at once. Yeah, he ate them all at once. It wasn't like spaced out. It was he was just like, yeah.
And it's
I'm like,
not like
high? He's like, yeah.
yeah, and it's not like smoking where it kind of wears off after like an hour or two. No, it stays and lingers for so freaking long. Yeah. So, needless to say, we get almost through the mountain
Well,
pass
we get to the
and
summit. Let's talk about the summit because that was
oh
hilarious.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
So we get
okay.
to the summit, and it's really pretty up there. There's like a scenic parking area because people want to stop and get pictures.
Yep.
You live there and you've seen it a billion times. So John and I get out to stretch, throw away some trash, take some pictures, and we're like, Matt, come on, you're only going to be in the summit of this mountain maybe once in your lifetime. He's like, I'm good. He's just sitting in the back, and
He's like staring off into space the entire time.
John and I are probably taking pictures, like maybe 10, 15 minutes. We just want to stretch out, enjoy it, take it all in. And we get ready to go back towards the car, and Matt's like, John, come here. Come here, John. John goes over there, and he whispers something, and I can't hear what Matt's saying. John goes, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. He just walks away. I'm like, what happened? So I get in the car, I'm like, Matt, what did you say to John? Matt goes, you see that guy over there in that truck? I'm like, yeah. He wants to kill me. I can't even say it. He goes, he wants to kill me. I'm like, what? He goes, he's got prison tattoos. I'm like, dude, everyone's got prison tattoos nowadays. What does that mean? He's been in prison. I'm like, that doesn't mean he wants to kill you. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, dude, he's sitting in a truck right now. Just tattoos. It's not a big deal. That's why he's staring at me. I'm like, you're staring at him. Oh man. I'm guessing people probably can't understand what I just said, but oh my God, it was so funny. Well, yeah. So after I talked Matt off the ledge, I'm like, "Do you want to get out now? Now you know that guy's not here to kill you." The guy took off. He was just taking a break or something, and then he, after he rested for a few minutes, he took off and started driving. I'm like, "Do you want to get out now that the killer's here to kill you?" He's like, "No." He was so high, dude. He couldn't.
He was like, no, he might come back, is what he said.
Dude, we're on a freeway. He had like miles one way, miles back, and then miles back the other way to get back to the rest stop. Oh my God. Dude. Oh, we were just like, what the heck? It's you. Oh man.
So after
trip, we're both pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
Because of we were just driving. We'd only had like John said, only had like 3 hours of sleep in Kansas. Before that, we'd driven all day and all night, and then we drove all this day. So we're starting to get tired. It's starting to get not. It wasn't getting dark yet, but it was. We're getting to the point where like we just need to stop. We need to rest and chill out. So I started looking up hotels on my phone, and we're in this. We're still in the mountains. We're like in the mountains still, and I find this place in Vail, Colorado. I think it's just called the Lodge, or I don't know something. It's something. The hotel is something with the word lodge in it. It was a nice little place.
Yeah.
Not little. It wasn't little. It was big. So I got a reservation. It was cheap. It wasn't like $80 or something. It was
Yeah.
not expensive at
It's
all.
cheaper than Vegas.
Yeah, a lot cheaper. Um, so let's see. I get the reservation on the, I don't know. I just Googled it and made a reservation. And we had stopped because it was, not ski season. It's like, near a ski resort or whatever. It's, not in season or anything. So it was really inexpensive to stay there. And we get there and it's just like huge lodge and it was really nice and the room was decent. It didn't have air. For some reason, the air didn't work. So they had a fan in there. So we stuck the fan in our window on like the third floor. And again, at this point in the trip, it's still not really that hot yet. It's like, June and we're in Colorado. If you've never been there, it is a desertous place. Or it, kind of is dry. So we chill out for a while. John and I decided to go walking around the town. It's a really beautiful, like, it's not really a downtown area. I don't really know what you call it.
It was like a Bavarian, like Frankenmuth almost. Yeah. If anybody's familiar with Michigan, but like a little Bavarian village with just like a bunch of shops everywhere, tea and coffee places, bars and clothing shops, and just all these different like. I would say probably 50
because most of those are like mom and pop shops.
Yeah,
and some of these are like branding, like like Oakley or whatever. I don't know. There's like I don't think Oakley was there, but you know what I'm saying. Like there's like these real high end stores there that like you can't really afford to go in.
Right.
Colorado.
Right. Definitely higher end, but it was cool to be in this little village kind of. Oh, and the restaurants. There were tons of restaurants and cafes everywhere. But it was cool to be in this little village. And when the day finally, like when you looked up, you're at the bottom of like a ski resort. So, all the trams that take people up the mountain, you're looking up that, but there's just no snow. So you're in a tiny little Bavarian village at the bottom base of like this giant mountain. So you're like
everybody's either walking around. There was a few people on bicycles, a couple skateboarders,
segways.
Yeah, segways, and then there was a bus.
Yeah,
but there were no cars where we were at.
Yeah,
where we were walking at. There was like a bus that kind of went back and forth from two people here and there, but that was like the only motorized vehicle besides like the segways or whatever.
Yeah,
car vehicle that was driving down this kind of road area we were walking through. And then it starts to get late and we're like getting hungry and we're trying to figure out where to eat. And because it's like not ski season, like all the food places started shutting down really early. We couldn't find anywhere to eat.
Nowhere.
Like, what the heck? It was like 10 o'clock, not even 10 o'clock at night. It was like 9:30, I think, when we started looking.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to call pizza places, dude. There's like nothing open. We find one pizza place that's open, and we order some pizza. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about that. So John and I are just kind of Matt's still up in the room. He didn't go with us. He was baked. He was like beyond baked. He was just sitting there in the chair or his bed like the whole time.
Yeah,
we're, like out walking around and. So I go back up to get Matt after I order pizza, and like, I got some. What kind of pizza did I get? It was one with like a white sauce or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a red sauce. So like, I bring Matt down because there's no way. First of all, I don't think he answered his phone.
Yeah.
He didn't have his phone. He left it in the car. He forgot it in the car that night.
Yeah.
So he didn't have his phone. So we couldn't call him and be like, hey, come down to the lobby. So I go up there, and I had to, like, walk him down because he's still so high, he can barely walk. Like he was walking, but like he was 10-second timing the whole time. Like, where are we going? Like, we would get to the elevator from the room. He's like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, "We're going to get pizza, Matt." And we, he just like he didn't have it together at all. So then, we get down there and we start eating the pizza. And he's like, "There's no sauce on here." He's like, "Who ordered this pizza?" I'm like, "Matt." I'm like, "Thanks so much for ordering the pizza. That was really nice of you." Like, I'm not being sarcastic. I kind of said it with a sarcastic tone just then, but I wasn't being sarcastic, even though I ordered the pizza. I was just messing with him. So I'm like, "Dude, thanks for ordering the pizza." He goes, "Why did I order pizza with no sauce?" He was like, "I don't know why I did that." I'm like, "Dude, you didn't order pizza with no sauce. I ordered the pizza." He goes, "Oh." He goes, "Why didn't you order pizza with sauce?" I'm like, "There is sauce, man. It's white sauce, not red sauce." And then he'd ask me the same questions like 2 or 3 minutes later. So this is like by the time the pizza get to us, it's now like almost midnight or after. He's still so baked that he can't even like hold a 3-minute conversation without forgetting what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild. So then we finally get to bed or whatever, and then we leave Vale. Vale was beautiful. I can't wait to go back someday.
Yeah.
And then
we went to the
Utah.
Yeah, we went to Utah after that, didn't we? But the where did we go?
Moab.
Moab.
Archway National Forest, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
So
and the cute the park ranger.
Oh yeah.
The abnormally cute park ranger. Like I don't even understand that.
It wasn't just that one. I think it was like all the ones we ended up
Yeah, all of them there at Moab. It was just like a weird paradox, Like we went through some portal in space and time and like just came out here and then went right back through. It was so strange,
Yeah. So I talked to these guys. I'm like, "You guys got to see." Okay, so first of all, I've driven through Moab before, but the part of Moab I had driven through was the actual town, not the national park. I've never been to the national park before. So we're driving towards the town, and we see like, oh, the Archway National.
Oh wait. Let's take a break real quick.
Okay.
Because we're gonna get into the dog story.
Yeah. That's good too. I got pictures as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the dog story. We're gonna get. Oh, we stopped for that beef jerky place.
Yep, we'll talk about that too.
So there is a whole lot of ground to cover, and it's not gonna stop. So let's take a 2-minute break. All right.
Okay. There's nobody watching us live, so I'll edit this part out.
All right.
It's like the middle of the night anyway, so why would anybody be watching?
Weirdos.
Yeah.
They're devoted.
Yeah, all 0 of them. All right, pee break. We'll be right back. 12 minutes later. Oh, it's warm up in here. juice.
Hey, let me grab a Gatorade real quick, okay?
Okay.
Dude, you did a great job on the video.
On what?
On the video.
Oh, you saw it?
I just got my phone out and looked at it. I was like, holy crap, that is awesome. You know?
Well, I'm glad you like it. Adding some photos to my phone for me to edit later. Took a bunch of photos when we were at the park with Autumn.
I think it was a good idea doing a quote.
Yeah, something a little different. It has one person liked it, and I was like, "Thanks for liking the video," and then they wrote back and they were like, "Oh, this is so awesome, the piano." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Cool." I didn't say that, but they were like, "Oh, it's so amazing." I'm just guessing by the way the guy looks and the way he wrote. It's right.
So it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it is what it is. You know what? I look at it as someone appreciating it.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Like literally the first 2 views
Mm-hmm.
had both had liked it, so that's good.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
You're doing a good job on the production.
Trying. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your last one, didn't your last one get like 1,200?
Yeah.
In just under 24 hours, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's like blowing up, bro.
Let's hope that momentum keeps.
Yeah, if you can maintain like 1,200 views or 1,200 views every single video,
Yeah.
that would be just destroying.
That's more than any of the ones that I put up. One of the guitar ones I had 800 and something.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's see. Where were we? We were talking
Moab.
About...
Oh, no. Going to the beef jerky place.
Okay, yeah. So after we leave Colorado,
yep.
We were on the road. Nothing special happens that I can remember. We were going towards Moab. So I don't remember what freeways these all are. So I'm just gonna make up a number. Highway 372, whatever, west. We're going west, and then in order to go to Moab from where we're at, you have to go south. There's an exit for that. So we get off at that exit, and it was like what was a gas station, but is now a beef jerky store. So does that explain it? You didn't go inside, did you?
Yeah, I went in for like 2 minutes, but remember we had the computers and everything out in the car.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't want to leave it. So at this point, it's starting to get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember what the temperature was at this point, but it was hot. And when I say hot, I mean hot. Like I said, I don't know what it was at this point in the day, but in a little bit, I look at my phone when we're in the Archway National Forest, and it's 106 degrees. So it was somewhere right around that temperature.
Yeah.
You know, this is about, we're at the jerky store. It's about less than an hour from the point where I look at my phone, probably. So we're at this like jerky store where there's like every kind of jerky you could probably want, almost. I'm not talking like beef jerky. They had alligator turkey, rattlesnake not turkey, alligator jerky, turkey jerky, rattlesnake jerky. I mean, they have all different emu, all kinds of different meat jerkied. And so we grab some jerky, something to drink because it's hot out. Now, now it's starting to get hot out. And then we start heading south at this point. And so like maybe 20 to 30 miles down the road is about where the archways were. And like I had said before, my plan was, I'd never been to the Archway National Forest before. I'm glad we went, but I'd never been there before. I was like, oh, we got to go to Moab. It's a cool little town. You'll like it. We never ended up getting to that point because that's after the Archways. But I still want to go back to the town of Moab. This is Moab where the Archway National Forest is. We passed by that. Oh, look, there's the Archway National Forest. And we kind of do a U-E or whatever. We turn around, and because now we're on like a highway, not a freeway. And we're like, let's go there. We're like, okay. So we get there. There's like the oddly attractive forest, national forest, or whatever. Hi, my name's Kelly, and I'm kind of hot in a weird sort of uniform way.
I like how you phrase that. Like oddly attractive does not fit. Like I don't know the stereotype in my head.
Yeah.
I'm picturing like a bearded fat guy, and yeah.
When we get to California, there's the same way there too. We're like all these young, attractive, and like even the dude that was there was like a better than average looking dude working at a national forest, and the women were not bad either. So we pay to get in, and then we start like going up the mountain because you got to like go, what do they call it, switchback, whatever, up the mountain.
Yeah,
is that what you call that when you?
Yeah,
you're switchbacking up the mountain, and we get out a couple times because there's like little areas where you can like pull over to get pictures, and then like I think maybe once up the mountain, up once or twice up that first initial switchback trail. We pull over and we're getting pictures. I'll put those up in the video. If you really want to get the full effect of this episode, please watch the video because I'm going to put photos to go along with all these stories we're telling. So it kind of makes a little more sense and you're kind of getting a bigger picture of what's happening. So we're getting pictures of everything. And then we get to like an actual parking area where you're going to see like, at this point, not archways, but just really scenic, beautiful, like, what are they called? I forget what they're called. There's like the typical, like when you see like a Western film and there's like the sort of mountain that goes up and then it's flat on top. There's a specific name for those. I forget what you call them.
Like a plateau?
Right, but they don't call them just plateaus, do they? Isn't there like another name for them? I don't remember. Maybe it's just plateau.
It's 4 a.m. where I'm at, so everything's a little fuzzy right now.
Right. So we're looking at all these. We're getting pictures. You know, we're there for like, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. Not so long.
And there was some cool pictures too. There was a crow. I think you got a picture of the crow, right?
A few good pictures of the crow. Not like the best pictures ever, but I got a few good ones of that.
I mean, the thing about it was he was just sitting on this like it was like a branch or a fence or something right there.
Yeah.
And it was just it wasn't a crow, it was like a giant raven.
Right.
So it's like twice the size of a Michigan crow. Just like a gigantic bird, but it's a raven, you know, giant bill and the whole gambit. And he's just chilling. So Matt got a couple pictures. I went in to get a picture, and some big lady kind of pushed her way by me.
Dude, I remember that.
And then the bird took off, and I was like, "Dude, really? Like, you can't see that I'm trying to take a picture here? Like, what is your problem? You know?" And then we went off this trail. We went down into this trail. We took a bunch of pictures of each other and the whole like scenery behind us. We were all these rock formations, and it was really awesome. And then we go back, and I got to tell you this because I was the one that actually seen it, and I didn't
know what was going on. Matt and I are in the car.
Yeah, wait. So we go back. We go back, and
it's hot.
Yeah, I could tell that the storm, there's like a sandstorm coming. And I could kind of tell the winds were changing. They were getting a little bit more like heavy. And so we kind of retreated back to the car. We get in the car, and I start up the car, and I'm just sitting there for a second. And this other car pulls up next to us, and it catches my periphery. And I look over, and there's this guy driving and this girl sitting in the passenger seat. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just watching her before I think I went to put it in reverse. And I swear it was like a split second. I'm watching her, and all of a sudden the car jerks forward like at least a good 6 to 8 inches. And the girl's head goes flying forward. I mean, like whiplash, like bam, like got smashed in the rear end. Now, back here at my job, one of my duties is to be a first responder. And normally I don't lose it. I just jump right into that mode, like life-saving mode. But for some reason, seeing that girl's head just fly forward and her hair just go flying all over the place, I sat there, and Matt can tell you, I lost it. I was laughing so friggin' hard.
I didn't know what was going on, though. I'm like, what? Huh?
My gut is hurting. I'm laughing so hard. And then I snap back out of it because I realized, okay, somebody might be injured. And Matt's like,
in a national forest in a parking area.
Yeah, nobody's moving.
Top of a mountain.
Yeah. So Matt's like, what the heck is going on? So I jump out of the car, I throw up the e-brake, and I jump out of the car. And I tap on the window. The girl rolls down the window, and I'm like, "You guys okay?" And they're both of them responded, "Yeah, we're okay." And I glance back because it's just natural instinct
Hang
to
on one
take
second.
in and
Before you get that far, let me interject a little bit. So, from my perspective, the windows are rolled up because it's 106 degrees. So, I can't hear what John's saying. I don't know what's going on, except for I look back and I see a car is like, go ahead.
So I kind of glance back and like it's just instinct to kind of take in the whole picture, not just the immediate picture. The immediate picture being the car that got smashed in the rear. But I take in the whole thing and I noticed that the car behind them, there's, a car had smashed into the back of them, of course. But it was still, yeah, it backed up into them. But the car was still bumper to bumper. And I could tell that the accelerator was still on, still wanting to push into their car. Right. So it's revving.
From my perspective, I see this. I'm like, oh, there's another car hit another car. What's going on? And I'm sitting there. I'm like waiting. I'm like waiting for the driver to get out. Like he hit another car. I'm like, waiting and waiting. I'm like, why isn't this dude getting out? He just hit another car. I'm like, is he okay? He or she, whatever. So at that point, that's when I get really curious because at this point, a good couple of minutes maybe passed, and nobody's gotten out of the driver's side of the vehicle that backed up into the other vehicle yet. So I get out of the vehicle. Now, go ahead.
I had made my way over to the driver's side because I'm thinking the same thing that Matt was thinking. Like, no one got out. I've seen people have strokes plenty of times before or heart attacks and their foot be on the accelerator. So that's my first thought is something happened. They're incapacitated. Maybe heat stroke. Could have been anything because it was really hot. But so my first thought is what Matt was thinking, like someone's incapacitated and that's why their foot's on the accelerator and still pushing on it. So I tell the people inside the car that got hit, I'm like, don't get out of your car. It's not safe. Just let me deal with the other car first and then you guys can get out. So they're like, okay. So I run around to the driver's side and I look inside and there's no one inside.
There's a ghost at the wheel.
Yeah, ghost at the wheel. So I'm like, what the heck? There's nobody in the driver's seat whatsoever.
Not only is there no one in the driver's seat, but there's no one in the passenger seat.
Yeah, there's no one in the front seat whatsoever. And then I look in the back, and hiding down in the seat, like tucked, like on the floor.
Hold on, wait for it. Guess what it is, or who it is?
It's a shepherd.
It's a Fido.
Yeah, Fido. It's a dog.
Fido's filthy, dude.
It's a little like, I don't even know what kind of dog it was, but it was a black and white like shepherd dog.
It's probably Chinese food now.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? And then it dawns on me, okay, the dog had to throw it in reverse. And then the momentum plus, the car really didn't accelerate. It just kind of rolled and gained momentum. Yeah.
Yeah, and they left the dog, whoever the car owners had left the dog in the car.
Yeah.
The car on because it was 106 degrees.
Yeah. And the dog just found a way to throw it in reverse. The momentum plus the idle speed just kept it rolling right into the car. And it was right next to us. You imagine how I would have been so upset if that hit us. But I opened the door. I opened the driver's side door.
If we were in that parking spot, it would have nailed us.
Yeah, it would have nailed us. Yeah, it would have.
Was the parking spot right to our
left, our immediate left, like less than probably 8 inches away or 12 inches away. I mean, it wasn't very well, probably more than that. Probably about 18 inches away.
Yeah, a foot or two, somewhere in there.
So not very far, but
car spot over was,
Yeah. So I open the driver's side. The dog starts getting like freaked out and starts growling aggressively. And so I shut the door right away. I was like, you know what? I'm not getting bit. I'm not getting bit to put this car in park. It's not going anywhere. It's in idle, or it's, idling back. So it was about 2 or 3 minutes later, the sandstorm kicked up, blew, tons of sand around. The owners ended up coming back to their car and seeing it smash, and they reached in and turned the knob. But that was a crazy, crazy thing.
It was wild. And the lady, when she came back, she's like, "Oh my God, this is all my fault. I can't believe this happened. Is everyone okay?"
Yeah. I'm thinking, like, dude, it literally could have killed someone.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you and I kind of discerned something about the couple that were.
Oh, hit?
No. Was it the couple that was hit or the couple that was.
It was the couple that was hit. Yeah, it was definitely the couple that was hit. The girl that had the whiplash effect. Yeah, the guy she was with, at least she was married, but she wasn't married to him. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we kind of just by hearing some conversation like between just standing there listening what was going on. We could both tell something was just off about both of the couples. I think.
Yeah.
And like I kind of feel bad because like imagine if you come back to your car and your dog, who you left your air conditioning on for because you care about your pet, because it's 106 degrees, they knock it into reverse or whatever, and then your car rolls into somebody. It just sucks. The whole situation sucks. So at this point, we found out everyone's okay. Those two people exchanged information. We're like, all right, we're out of here.
Yeah. We did not stick around.
No, we did not.
Number one, we've got like brownies and gummies in the back seat.
Yeah, that's right. Allegedly,
brownies
and gummies in a Mormon state where THC is definitely not legal. So back to the story, or to the part of the story where Matt had decided to buy all this stuff. We told him you need to eat it all before we're out of Colorado, but he couldn't make that happen because he was just so high from the day before. He was like, no. We did end up finding out, like, if he only took, like, a couple of gummies, he was just the right amount of chill.
Yeah, like one.
Where he wasn't, like, overly talkative, but not, like, drooling either.
Yeah.
So, like, we initially had said we need to get rid of this before we get into Utah because we don't want to get arrested. But then we kind of like just let it go because we found
allegedly.
This is all alleged. Could it be that Matt had found just the right amount of dosage to take before, so that he was just the right amount of chill?
Yeah.
So we decided not to stick around for the car accident. I don't even know who shows up in a national forest when there's a car accident.
I don't know.
It's the forest ladies that are
hot rangers.
Yeah,
the Power Rangers, the Power Park Rangers.
Hi, I feel some accident here. How may we assist? We didn't want to stick around for any of that, so we were outie 5 We went on to the next area. So
yeah,
I've never been to actual national forest until this trip. I knew they were big, but I didn't know that they were as big as they actually are. Actually, I kind of did, but since I'd never been into one, it's really hard to grasp. It's like trying to imagine going to a country that you've never been to. Like I've never been to England. I see it on a map, but I don't know how big it is. So it's kind of, it's kind of really vague in your mind about how big one of these places are. So there's there's just all these different spots you can stop and park at. So we move on to the next one. And it's like miles down the road. They're not close. You're going miles and miles and miles between each stop you want to stop at. And then we kind of, we move on to the next one. I think we stopped at a couple more.
Yeah.
And then we were like, all right, it's starting to get late. We need to get down the road if we want to get to wherever we were going to go. So at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to put the first part of our conversation before the trip, not before the trip, but at the beginning of the trip, before he had even picked up Matt. And we're talking about like where we want to go, and we go to like 3 of those places. Maybe 2. No, 3.
I think we need to break this up into 2.
We probably will.
There's so no, I mean like actually do it. Finish it tomorrow. It's getting pretty late. Yeah, it's getting late here for me.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with my eyes.
Okay, yeah. So at this. Okay.
Let's get to Vegas.
So yeah. So at this point, we stop at a few places, and we're like, okay, we need to start getting down the road. It's starting to get in the evening, and we need to find a place to either camp or hotel. And at this point, we're like, we can't camp. It's 106 degrees, which means it's going to be 120 or 30 degrees inside of a tent, if we can even find a place to camp at.
Yeah.
Well, we just decide hotel. And from this point on, that's pretty much the rest of the trip. I'm just going to say that now. Because for the rest of the trip, it's like in the hundreds, except for when we're in like Wyoming.
Yeah.
At that point, it starts to get in the high 90s. So it's still really hot.
Yeah.
So we don't actually camp on this trip. I'm just going to give that away now because it got so flipping hot. It was like, there's no way you can't camp in this. Someone's going to get sick and they could stroke or die. So we just decided we're going to do hotels, which was very expensive, but it was a lot of fun and worth it. So at this point, we're heading down. We're going back up towards where the
beef jerky place.
The beef jerky place is because that's the freeway we need to be on. And we decide, after kind of going back and forth, that we're going to go to Vegas because we figure Matt will probably enjoy that. There's probably going to be affordable hotels and food, and it'll probably be easy to find a hotel. It's not going to be, at this point, it's like a Thursday night or something. I think a Thursday. It's Father's Day weekend, so it might have been a Thursday night or something. So it was like $50 for the first night. I think with all the resort fees and all their little uppity ups that they had to charge you for, it was like $80 or $90 for the first night. So we decided, okay, let's go to Vegas. So we get to Vegas, and we stay at the
Luxor.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. I'm like the pyramid one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in the trip, me personally, we didn't get there till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because we were quite a ways away still. And I was pretty exhausted because even though I wasn't the one driving, just traveling in general, especially when you're doing, not very much sleep, a lot of driving, a lot of sightseeing, a lot of, you're talking, you're interacting, that kind of takes it out of me. So, like, when we get to Vegas, we spend the first night there, and I'm like, I'm not getting up and driving again in the morning. I need another day. So I booked another hotel, and it was, let me tell you, the Friday night price was like 8 times what I paid for the night before or something, because it was Father's Day weekend, and it was a weekend night, not a weekday night. So we ended up staying 2 nights at the Luxor just because we were just pretty much spent at that point. And then we're only like 2.5 or 3 days in at this point.
Yeah.
And so nothing really fantastic happened in Vegas. It's Vegas. The food's triple the price. John and I went and played at a few slots for like 20 minutes.
Oh, remember the ice cube?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I think this was the second day when we decided to stay another night. John and I kind of went for a walk, and in between 2 of the hotels, there's kind of like, it's almost like a mall, for lack of a better description.
Yeah.
Where, there's just all these stores and restaurants, and we get to this place called 5 degrees Celsius or something like that. I don't know. And it's basically like, at first I thought, okay, so in the front of it, it looks like one of those places where you get a alcoholic slushie, which is what I kind of wanted, even though I didn't end up ever getting one. So we're like kind of looking, and there's like these 2 younger, kind of attractive girls there. I mean, they weren't nasty or anything.
Yeah, I mean,
they were like not bad. And then we're kind of looking, because at that point I was like, I want to drink a little bit. We're settling down for a day here. And then we're like, what is this place? I thought it was just a slushy place. And they're like, oh no, there's a whole frozen museum in the back. And I'm like, oh, is that what you guys call it these days? A frozen museum, huh? So they proceeded to tell us all about this place. And like, how it's like, I don't know, what was it, like 10 degree. I forgot what the temp, whatever 5 Celsius is. I don't even know. 5
Like
below.
20 degrees or
Yeah, it's like
25 degrees, something like
it's like
that.
frozen, but like, I mean, where I live in the winter, it gets 20 below. So it's like
Yeah.
20 degrees in the middle of winter is a nice day here.
Me and Matt are looking at each other like,
We can go
really?
with shorts on.
And they're like, you might want to put on like a jacket and some like heavy clothing. And me and Matt are like, can we just like go in our underwear? Or
We didn't end up going in.
yeah,
Kind of
I wanted to.
Yeah, John really did want to. Looking
Somebody, I'm not going to name any names. Somebody was putting down the hammer and wouldn't let me.
I don't remember why, but I was not feeling it at that moment.
Yeah. I think it had something to do with the two girls at the
Maybe it might have. But I was just like, hey, man, I'm not feeling it right now. I kind of wish we had, just because I think it would have probably made for a better story now. Looking back. But it was like this museum where everything's frozen. There's like a frozen chair, a frozen floor, whatever. I don't know. It seemed like it might have been fun to go into, but we did. It was really expensive though. I think that was probably the other part of it. I wasn't like ready to drop like, I don't know, $35 to go to a frozen museum.
I think it was like up to 80.
Yeah, it was not cheap. It was like expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
But then instead of doing that, John and I decided to go to a Irish or Scottish? Irish pub? Man,
I thought it was an Irish pub.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was an Irish pub.
Yeah.
You know, and if you've ever been into like a legit Irish pub type, you just got the real low lighting, real dark in there, and it's not very loud. It's not like a bar where people are loud and partying. It's more chill, laid back, more meant for probably older gentlemen. Even though we're not older or gentlemen, but like I feel like it was probably a better atmosphere.
Yeah,
it's probably a better atmosphere for just chilling out and hanging out with your buddy. So we went in there and we hung out for like an hour and just kind of chilled out. I introduced John to some Scottish eggs.
Those were good.
Yeah, they're basically like hard-boiled eggs, and then they're like deep fried in tempura crumbs or whatever the Japanese crumbs.
Yeah.
The tea, I can't remember. They're really good though. And then we kind of went back to the room, and then just like.
Oh no! Remember we went to that picture place, the photography place.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like this art gallery with these photographs that were like unbelievable, and they're huge too. They're not like photographs like this. Like they're like, some of them are like 8 feet long. And some of them are like, 10 feet tall.
And the colors were so
vivid,
unbelievably vibrant. Like when you looked at it, your eyes had a hard time adjusting because it was so bright. And they were like, the colors were perfect, you know? So I would have bought one of those if I had like $8,000, you know, just laying around.
Yeah. There was some pretty awesome photography in there. It was pretty cool. But yeah, so it was like that cool photography studio thing. Other than that, we didn't really go anywhere, did we?
No.
I don't think we left the Luxor other than going to like the MGM or whatever was right next door with that mall corridor in between.
Yeah.
Other than that, like we did not leave the Luxor until we were like gone the next day. So before we end this podcast, I want to talk about like, I think it was when we pulled into the hotel 2:00 in the morning, not when we were leaving. So we pulled into the hotel. I'm just now remembering this. That's why I'm going back, because I'm remembering things as we go along. When we get to the hotel, it's like 1 or 2:00 in the morning. I mean, it's friggin' late. We're beat. It's hot. You know, it's the desert, but it's nighttime. But it's, you know, not cooling off like you're wanting it to. We get into the parking structure. And we find a spot. It didn't take us too long. I mean, the parking lot was pretty full. We kind of did have to park towards the back of the parking structure, but it didn't really take us too long to find a spot. And as we were like getting out of the car, I noticed this dude drive by, and he was just kind of like, he wasn't like just driving by like, I'm looking for a spot. He's like driving, like hanging out the window, like looking around like this. Like it was
It was odd.
Odd. It was out of place. His behavior, his body language was like obviously not right. Something was off about it. I
Yeah.
picked it up like immediately because I didn't know. At first, I didn't know what was going on, but then like as we had like grabbed our luggage and me, I have just a lot of stuff because I'm like that, I guess. We're like walking towards the hotel entrance, and we see him drive around again. Same thing, like not looking at us, not looking at us, but like hanging out the window, kind of looking, windows down.
Well,
Remember,
and the chick in the passenger
yeah,
seat.
there was a female in the passenger seat, and he's like looking around, and I'm like, they're not really looking for a parking spot. Something's off. And then like by the time we get to the front, mind you, we're kind of parked towards the back of the structure, so we got a little ways to walk. I see him pull around like at least a third, and then maybe a fourth or fifth time.
Yeah,
like, you know, it was like, and I look over John, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure that dude's a pimp. He's like, yeah, I think it is. He's like, I'm pretty sure they just were like in the hotel parking lot area, which you have to pay to get out of. You can't just go in there for free.
Yeah.
Looking for like people, looking for Johns. It was like really kind of odd.
Not me, John.
Not John. John.
They were looking for me.
They were looking for Johns and Matts. They didn't find them. I thought that was really odd. It was like really, it was kind of weird.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing. You know, me and DreadMatt, we both knew it. I don't know if it's just because we're really observant, especially in parking structures. I always feel weird and vulnerable because you can only run so many different places. There's a lot of danger in those areas. So I tend to be on like heightened, observant mode anyways. But that guy passing us that many times and hanging out, plus his stereos like, bumping like crazy. And then the girl kind of said it. I mean, she was dressed kind of like, someone that's going to work.
It was warm. She didn't have a lot of clothes on, but
she was just trying to stay cool. She had to go to work.
She's going to work. She was a working lady.
She's a hard worker.
Hard worker. She's working hard that night. I don't know if she found any work, but if she did, it wasn't from us. That's for sure.
She was in the ice cave in the back.
Yeah, that's who it was. I never put that together till now. She was the one that was in the was waiting to meet us in the ice cave.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of the ice museum. Interesting.
See, we should have coughed up the extra $80. She's got to put food on her table, man.
I know, right? Wow.
Oh man.
Really, there wasn't anything other interesting that happened in Vegas. We didn't go to the pool. We were pretty exhausted. Carrot Top was the main act of the Luxor, and there was lots of commercials with Carrot Top in it.
There wasn't really anything else though. We didn't do anything. We
literally just kind of rested.
We went out and played some slots for like an hour.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. We blew through like a couple $100 and we were like, okay, we're done. Like, I mean, it just literally went through. I went on a winning streak of like, I won like $100, didn't I? And then they took it right back.
Yeah.
like almost immediately.
I put like $40 in the slot I was in, and I was never up even for 1 second. So
yeah,
it was like, meh.
Yeah, it was that kind of night,
Yeah, it wasn't exciting. There was we ended up not even eating at any like really nice place, or we didn't go to any buffet there. We went to like a food court, which would be like something you'd see in a mall.
Yeah.
And we ended up eating at like a place like Sabora Pizza, which I don't even know if those are a thing anymore. So I guess if you're a millennial, you might not even know what that is. They're like these giant slices of pizza. I didn't even get it. I got a calzone or something.
That's what I got. Yeah.
It was all right, but it was like $17 for like, I don't know. It was dumb.
Yeah.
like one calzone, a side of like garlic bread, and like it rock
Mac and
star.
cheese or something. I
Oh,
don't
I didn't
remember.
even get that. It was
Oh,
like a wrap.
salad. We got a salad.
Did
Remember?
I have one? I don't remember.
I got a tossed
You
salad.
did? I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I think I just got the garlic bread and like a rock star because I wasn't about to pay $4 for a bottle of water. I was like, okay. Yeah, it was ridiculously expensive for the food there, and it wasn't anything to write home to mom about.
Yeah.
It was Sabora pizza under a different name. It
So I
wasn't
mean, like
nasty, but
there was some good that we took away from the whole thing. We still had fun there. We went to the Irish pub, got to see the working girl.
yeah. You know what? I wish I had found this earlier. I on TikTok I've seen this video recently in Vegas. There's this grocery store where you can walk into a hidden cooler and there's this whole mystery, like that Hunt a Killer game we did.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like a regular grocery store. You can really buy food there, but then there's like the secret like freezer door that you can walk into, and then you got to find out you got to figure out some mystery that's going on. That would have been fun.
That would
Doing
have been
something like
sweet.
that would have been awesome.
I
And
would
I
have done
thought
that.
about that. I think it was. I can't remember the name of the store, like Mega Store, or I don't know the name of it. But if I'm ever in Vegas again, which I don't know if I ever will, it was kind of I don't know. It seemed kind of annoying this time when I
Yeah.
was there. But if I am ever in Vegas again, I'll stop at that place just because something like that. Excuse me. Seems like it'd be fun to do.
Yeah.
Like a fake mystery you got to solve.
Yeah, I agree.
But then, yeah, after that we left Vegas, and from that point we will continue tomorrow with part three.
And it only gets honestly, I mean it gets so much better.
It gets pretty wild. Like the
It
story, there is no lack of interesting stories on this trip.
no. No, it definitely was like one of those road trips where something was always happening, like constantly,
Yeah,
no matter what it was,
not some good, some bad.
Some good, yep. Yeah. Some just flat out
I
hilarious.
wish we could have stayed in California a little longer at that hotel that we ended up staying at. I think the next night.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
We had the most fun there.
that was awesome. That was fun, but it was dude. That hotel was even more money than what I paid for the
Yeah, Vegas.
Vegas one. But
Yeah.
that was like we were in a pinch because that was the only place you could find that had an open room, and it was even hotter that day. And we were like, we're not camping. It's like at that point it was 112 degrees out. We're like, we're not camping now. So we'll get into that later, but we'll talk all about that. I forget the name of that town. I'll look it up if I can remember on Google because I know where we were at roughly. That's before we went. I'm just gonna save it, but that little town was really cool. People were chill.
Yep. The ice cream place.
Yeah, the ice cream place.
The other hot chicks.
Yeah, that were like maybe not even 11. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, whoa.
pretty young. I'm not sure if they were legally allowed to work at that. That's all I'm talking about.
I think half were, half weren't.
Yeah, no, it might have been a family.
I think it was divided.
I kind of got the family-owned vibe there.
We exited that place rather quickly.
Yeah, but it was a really nice place.
Yeah. I did get the family vibe there too.
Yeah, I got like the family owned it, and like friends from the someone's high school probably worked there. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And if I have pictures of that, which I think I've got at least one, not of any girls. It was just like they had this like light that was hanging down, made of rope, and it looked really cool. I think I snapped a shot of it. I'll have to go through all my photos and find it. But we actually do have some pretty good photos from the hotel room that next night too. You took some, I took some.
Yeah. Hey, I can send you a couple of those too to put on.
I have it because I.
Oh yeah, you did that. That's right. You edited everything.
Yeah. So that's where we'll end up. We're at this point we're getting ready to leave Vegas and heading towards California. And the reason we decided not to go to Arizona, because we wanted to go see the Grand Canyon, the Painted Desert, and what's the other one?
The Grand Canyon, the Painted Desert, and the Petrified Forest.
Yeah. But at this point in the trip, it's like over 100. It's in the 100 and zeros and 100 and teens. Not quite that hot, but I mean it's in the 100 and
Well, it was 109.
yeah, it was hot. We're not going to Arizona. That's even hotter than Vegas, you know.
Well, and then we found out about the fire too that was over that way.
Yeah,
Remember?
there was some that was in Utah, I think.
No, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, we heard about the fire and we're like, well, number one, it's really hot, and number two, we don't know if like those roads are shut off like anywhere around there or if it's going that direction.
Yeah, so a lot of this trip we really were winging it because there's stuff you just can't plan for.
Yeah,
in advance.
like a massive dry fire.
Yeah, 106-degree temperature, 112-degree temperatures. Like we had no idea it was going to be that hot, and we literally did this last minute because, that's how we were able to do it. It wasn't something John was given a certain amount of time. He was able to take off of work.
Yeah.
I just happened to not be working at all at that point.
Yeah.
My wife was like, "Go for it," So we were like, "Let's just do this," and we kind of had a general idea at the beginning, and it turned out to I won't say none of it, but like most of the places we wanted to go to, we didn't go to at all.
Yeah.
There was like three. Yeah, I think 3 of the spots that we named in the first part of this episode that we go to. The rest we didn't go to. 3 out of like 15.
But I gotta say, it was one of the most memorable trips, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, it gets even better.
It's
hard to beat Matt being high and being
tasting colors.
And like the guy's gonna kill me. That's hard to beat. So I don't know if it's gonna be any. I don't think anything is gonna be more funny than that, but it does get more interesting. Let me just say
tomorrow.
It's quite interesting.
Tomorrow. Yep. All right.
And with that, this is the end of part 2. He's John. I'm DreadMatt, and we're out. And we're ending the broadcast.
Sweet.